Hi, this is Cezanne Poetess, author of the novel Journey of a Sister. Part 6 of my series, The Story Behind the Book, was going to be about my 6-month stay in the Gambia. But after attending a reparations Zoom meeting on Monday, I decided to do a review of it instead. First of all, I was surprised to see so many white people on the call. It turns out they're the descendants of enslavers who call themselves heirs of slavery. Their ancestors were paid millions of pounds in compensation over a 182-year period for the loss of their stock. Our ancestors. Which means they're still living off the generational wealth their ancestors created. So why are they interested in reparations? Well, it's been 10 years since compensation from the government stopped. The meeting was hosted by Michael Banner, a theologian, and Patrick Vernon, an amateur cultural historian and expert on African and Caribbean genealogy in the UK. He's been involved with managing mental health and received professional training in fundraising and media. He was awarded an OBE, Order of the British Empire, in 2012. And who are the heirs of slavery? According to their website, they're a group of people whose ancestors acquired significant wealth from the enslavement of African people. It says they launched Heirs of Slavery in 2023 to support today's movement seeking apology, dialogue, reconciliation, and reparative justice. So why has Patrick teamed up with the descendants of enslavers over reparations? Because what you have to remember is that these are the descendants of wicked, barbarian, evil people who enslaved our ancestors, kept them in inhumane conditions, whipped them, raped them, forced them into accepting their white saviour, brainwashed them into a false religion while forbidding them to practice their own culture and traditions, branded them, renamed them, cut them off from their motherland, stole their land, and gave them a Bible in return. I spoke up and said, I am the descendant of royalty who was enslaved. I have written to the Church of England to claim my reparations, having been raised in the Christian faith and having to unindoctrinate myself from that religion, and then finding out how that religion was used to colonize Africa and enslave the minds of Africans. So as the descendant of royalty who was enslaved, I have been claiming my reparations from the Church of England. They have a fund of £10 billion, which they have accumulated over the years. And since they were amongst the enslavers who received compensation when slavery was abolished, and this government did not finish paying all you descendants of enslavers until 2015, which means some of us were even contributing to paying you guys compensation. So whilst you were able to build generational wealth, our inheritance was stolen. And I have written to the Church of England 3 letters, and all they did was attack me psychologically. And then they want to talk about mental health. So how do I get the support that I need to get my reparations so I can leave this country and return to my motherland? Because we cannot heal in this country. You're constantly psychologically attacking us, especially those of us who are trying to claim reparations. And then you want to say that we're suffering from mental health. So how do we get the support that we need to claim our reparations, to be taken seriously? I would like to know who all these white people are on here as well. Are you the descendants of enslavers? Are you investors? Because last year, £100 million was raised in 2 hours for Jamaican charities. And what happened to that money? What was it for?
Thanks, Cezanne. I think I've just said to someone in the chat, there are lots of people here for different reasons. I think many of us here have quite mixed histories in terms of what our ancestors were and did at the time of enslavement. But anyone who wants to answer that question, please use the chat to do so. But thanks very much for making that point. Can I now turn to Gabrielle?
I'm sorry, but I don't really feel like you answered my question. I want to know what support I can get from this organisation in claiming my reparations in the Church of England.
Well, we're a group that tries tries to help get people to talk to each other about how to put forward or support the cause of reparations and so forth, and encourage people to acknowledge their histories if they're descended from enslavers. Getting reparations, that's not within our remit. I wish I knew how to do that. But can I suggest we continue this conversation after the talk and so on? I'm very interested in what you said about the Church of England particularly, but perhaps now...
In part 5 of this series, I explained how, as the descendant of royalty who were enslaved, my inheritance had been stolen, leaving me with nothing to pass down to my children and future generations. But it seems that these descendants of enslavers aren't content with what they've been paid already. In November 2023, The Voice newspaper published an article about slave-owning families, the heirs of slavery, profiting all over again by clocking up book and film deals telling their stories. Someone needs to offer me a book and film deal as the descendant of royalty who had my inheritance stolen. It soon became apparent that this meeting wasn't advocating for the descendants of enslaved Africans, but for the heirs of slavery who were after our stolen inheritance. They hardly said anything on the Zoom. Instead, they used 3 people in black skin to advocate for them. James Dawkins, a research fellow in the Department of History for the University of Nottingham, said,
I think I kind of want to elaborate and just pick up really quickly. It's just a quick point on what Michael was saying, but also what Ruth said. And I do believe that psychologically there's some repair work to be done for the descendants of enslaved African people, but also for white people generally. I've been reading an article. It's a new journal article that came out, published earlier this year. It's called An American Story of a Health System Dilemma, the Slave Health Deficit and Post-Traumatic Slavery Disorder. And Dr. G. Rodney Hood, in this, he argues for a clinical definition of white supremacy to be established as a mental disorder, so that white people can also receive the kind of or consider receiving some of the treatment which he thinks they may need. And I just want to quote him because this is really interesting. Dr. Rodney says that the proposed mental disorder, white supremacy, can be characterized as a collective narcissistic behavior with a mentality steeped in misplaced arrogance and grounded in discredited scientific notions that promote a hierarchical view of humanity. The underlying psychodynamics of white supremacy involve a subconscious inferiority complex that manifest as exaggerated self-opinion and myopic views of non-white ethnicities. This inflated sense of self-worth is fueled by an inappropriate sense of grandeur which perpetuates false beliefs regarding individual and collective superiority. These distorted views not only harm those who are subjected to such ideologies, i.e. the enslaved and descendants of the enslaved, but also lead to the systematic creation and enforcement of laws, policies, social beliefs that prioritize the enrichment and advancement of white individuals at the expense of other racialized groups. Classifying white supremacy in this manner acknowledges the mental health implications of such beliefs and provides a framework for understanding their impact on society. I think that is a really powerful point, a really clear articulation of how white supremacy affects white people, but also the descendant of black people, the descendants of the enslaved. And I kind of just wanted to throw that out there.
That's fascinating and how brilliantly put. I'm looking forward to reading that.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. And James, I should say, with Jackie Mackenzie, is speaking to us on 1st of December. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
The whole Zoom meeting appeared to be well orchestrated by people in black skin advocating for why the heirs of enslavers have the right to claim reparations. If they're suffering from psychological trauma passed down from their ancestors, they can afford to go on these expensive plant medicine retreats that the majority of us don't have access to financially. I can personally testify to the power of psychedelics to heal the mind, and I can point them in the right direction. If you're the descendant of royalty who's had your inheritance stolen, join me in claiming our reparations now, whether you're in England, America, or the Caribbean. If you were indoctrinated into the Christian religion, claim your reparations from the Church of England. They have a fund of £10 billion which they've built up over the years. They were among the enslavers who received compensation when slavery was abolished. Religion and politics are the two wings which enabled the British Empire to fly, which is why we should claim our reparations from this fund, HMRC and the royal family. The heirs of slavery are coming out of the woodwork to claim your reparations money, using psychological trauma as their reason. The caucasity. Remember, these are the descendants of those who committed the worst possible crimes against humanity. Patrick Vernon rounded off the meeting.
It's been acknowledged before. I mean, Vance Pound wrote about this many times, about the colonizer and on this narcissism. James Baldwin talked about this in his writings, especially the book and then became a film after his death, I'm Not Your Negro. And only just recently, Kendi Andrews wrote about this whole issue called white psychosis, which in many ways, that's that. So, but the problem is actually, yes, we all need repair, but black people need it first. It's about that agency. And I know, Cezanne, and I'm not singing for ages, I hope you're well. You want to have that agency. Where's my money from the Church of England? But I was on that committee and we agreed that the money's not for individuals, it's for collective support about repairing the harm in terms of, and the money is going to black-led organisations and projects. But we've got to take this conversation to the mainstream. We've got to take it to the, if we're in America, we say we have to take it to the man, whoever that man is, a woman, you know what I mean? So how do we use this word, the word that you're doing, to have those big conversations in mainstream, political thought? I mean, this is the problem that we have in this country. That, even if we agree with James's the analysis done by that paper James shared, then knowing mental health services, they'll just section certain white people.
Remember, Patrick was trained in mental health and media by Claw. He's not advocating for the descendants of enslaved Africans, he's advocating for the heirs of slavery. After writing my letters to the Church of England, I came under another attack by covert government operations. But I'm back, ready to carry on the fight for reparations. If you have a warrior spirit, join my tribe. The more of us claiming at the same time, the better. There's strength in numbers. I resent my letters to Gordon Jump at Church of England this week since Georgia Boone has apparently left her position. Go to the collections section on my Patreon to download the letter I sent to the Church of England and use it to write your own letter. Let's do this together. Join me this Sunday and every Sunday on YouTube Live, where I'll be answering your questions. Put them in the comments below. Please share this video with your friends and families in WhatsApp groups and social media. It's time for us to unite and fight for justice for our ancestors, ourselves, and future generations.